Thanks for tuning in to part 2. This is episode 16, Israel versus Gaza, What to Believe. So we just talked about the lies. Now we're going to talk about what the two sides have done. First of all, Israel. Israel, when they fight, they have been using precision munition attacks to attack the location that fired a rocket or missile. They're more accurate than the American military is. All right, speaking as a veteran. If an innocent child is there when Hamas fires a rocket and Israel responds and destroys that rocket location and the guy that fired it, whose fault is that? Is it the parent's fault for allowing the child to watch the wanton murderer fire his weapon into a crowded city to hit innocent civilians? Is it Hamas's fault? Did they force the child to stay there? Or are you going to blame the victim for daring to shoot back and defend his city? Because that's what most of the world does. Now, Israel has also dropped leaflets warning of bombs coming in the city block that they're attacking. They also use cell phone technology to call all the cell phones in the building that they're about to bomb before they do it. They deliberately warn their enemy because they want to destroy convenient locations, not kill people. They do this to ensure that no cleaners or building workers who are innocent will be there when they bomb, knowing full well that they're also warning the terrorists. This means that anyone that's left in the building is there on purpose, knowing they're about to be bombed. What army does that? Calls all the cell phones in the local area before they bomb it? No army does that. Why would they do that? The only reason to do that is to save innocent lives. Also, here's something you don't hear on the news. Israel provides the electricity and water for Gaza. None of the infrastructure were there by the people that live in Gaza. They were given the land. They monthly survive at the will of the Israelis without paying for it. These people are living rent-free on Israel's land using free electricity, free water, and many of them come to Israel for their daily jobs and are freely allowed to cross back and forth, taking Israel's money back to buy weapons to kill Israelis. Everything about what Israel does is to assume the best about each human living in Gaza and to attempt to help them. Let's not even talk about the hospitals on the border that they use to provide care for the people of Gaza for free. Israel saves the wounded enemy and hospitalizes them and takes care of them better than any nation ever has cared for their enemy combatants. Now, what has Hamas and the people of Gaza done? Number one, they indoctrinate their children from a young age to hate Jews. I have seen videos. I have watched surveillance. I know of this stuff over the last 40 years of my life. I have seen this stuff and researched it on the internet. They train their children to behead and to practice killing Jews on their own stuffed animals and then on live rabbits and other animals later. Their graduation ceremonies for school often focus on combat skills in different ways to kill Jews. The videos I've seen from the propaganda videos of Al Jazeera and Hamas and other Muslim nations, they purposely bring children to the locations where they're going to bomb Israel. Sometimes they have tied children with razor wire. And I remember watching the struggling children screaming and crying as their parents watch. As the razor wire cuts into their bodies, I'm talking 4, 5, 6, 7-year-old kids. So the kids can't escape when Hamas shoots their missiles at Israel. Israel's instant response kills everyone there. And Hamas and CNN, who are videotaping these things, are quickly there to go through the rubble and show the dead, mangled children's bodies. Hamas videotapes this stuff themselves, and they post it as encouragement to gain new recruits and to, quote, honor the children and the families who gave their lives. These people are praised and heroes and made heroes in the war against the hated Jews, and each death is used as another reason to fight. They believe that those who die in combat are instantly allowed into heaven, so parents will give their children to be used like this. Now, I know some might be forced. This isn't everyone willingly letting their children die. But you need to understand the brutal evil that is attacking Israel every day. Now, they have consistently used aid money that our stupid government gives them to purchase weapons and to kill Jews, and then they post the weapon purchases online in pictures and videos. If you haven't seen that, it's because you haven't looked for it. I have spent countless hours researching news stories over the last 3 decades on Israel and this conflict. You track down the people mentioned in the news story, you find their social media on YouTube or Facebook, you check their friends and the posts that they like and reply to, and you will find thousands of videos of what I'm talking about. They have been doing this stuff since before the internet was even around, and they are very open about it. Because they laugh in our face that they take our millions of dollars in aid money and spend it on weapons to kill Jews. Now, I saw a lot while I was in the military, and I was able to see many videos from cell phones and captured camcorders after we killed terrorists, showing some of the things that I'm talking about. I also saw on the internet Jihad Johnny beheading the first American in 2002 on the internet. I saw the 2 Israeli pilots that were put in metal cages and burned alive. These and other horrors are things that I will never forget. These people, Muslims who hate Israel and America, openly share the horrors they commit. If you don't know about them, it's because you either bought into the lies you've heard on American television and you don't think to verify anything you're told. In other words, you are choosing to be ignorant. Or you willfully choose to side with the terrorists. Now listen, the days of trusting the media and our government are gone. If you don't see that, you need to wake up. Start researching things on your own. The internet is a vast collection of billions of computers with information on them all over the world, and you can find stuff. And sometimes you can't use Google. Try a different search engine, DuckDuckGo or Bing or something new that I'm not aware of. Try other things because we know Google has admitted in Congress they hide things on purpose to push their narrative. If you care about the truth, you need to learn to search for it. It's not easy. But let me help you. Here's some things you can Google, and come back and listen to this and write these down and actually search this if you've never done these searches before. What was the original acronym for ISIS? Check it out. What does it mean? Now Google the last word, Levant. What did it mean to ISIS? The answer was the total genocide of Israel. This is what they chant at the fake Palestinian protests. From the river to the sea, Palestine will be free. What river? What sea? Google it. They mean complete genocide of every man, woman, and child of Jewish descent so that they can take over all of Israel. That's what it means. Now, Google this. What is the keffiyeh? And why do protesters wear the checkered cloth? Who is the father of modern terrorism? Yasser Arafat. What did he do while he was growing up in Egypt? Google this. In quotes, I'm serious. Gaza, school, graduation, videos. Watch 4 or 5 of those and then tell me what you think. Google captured Hamas videos. How about on YouTube? Go to France 24 English and search for kill anyone you can and see who is saying that. Google Hamas terror tunnels under schools and hospitals so that if Israel finds these terror tunnels that they cache weapons in and that they shoot from, there will be innocent children killed in the firefight. Schools and hospitals. They hide behind women and children to elicit sympathy for their cause when they get killed. Because if the combatant dies, so does the child they're using as a shield. If you don't know this stuff, that's your fault. Now, here's what it comes down to. Why do I care? Why should a believer in Jesus Christ choose Israel? Well, if you care about truth, which Jesus does, right? Historically, they own the land. They have the rights to it for like 4,000, 3,000 years at least. I'm not sure. It's just an incredible amount of time. Indisputable fact of history noted by every historian in every country that is currently on the globe today. Even the Roman Empire has documents about the land of Israel and the Jews. So that's number one. Historically, it's their land. Number two, logically, they were given their own country back after the Holocaust, and everyone knew it to be a fulfilled prophecy of the Bible that in the end of the world, they would have their nation and a temple in Jerusalem to do sacrifices on. This has been predicted since before the book of Revelation, which is a verified historical book written about 80 AD. To deny this reality is to show how completely ignorant someone is of history and of the Jewish people and of the Bible. You got to understand what that means. A verified religious prophecy that everyone knows was written 2,000 years ago, that the Jews would own Israel again and have a powerful nation that can fight against the whole world, was somehow magically fulfilled on May 14th, 1948. That alone should blow your mind and make you realize that there's something supernatural here. Israel deserves this land. Now, as human beings, they deserve the right of self-defense. If you don't know what's been going on in Israel since the beginning of time, then you have a vast ignorance that you need to fix. They have always been the subject of unjust wars, terrorist attacks, brutal murders, rapes, and kidnapping of innocent people in public places. Most of these attacks have either come from Gaza or Hamas, been funded by them, or were other Muslims who traveled there because they simply hate them because of their race, because they're Jews. October 7th last year, 2023, was one of the largest coordinated attacks since the Six-Day War in 1967 against Israel. They have every right to carpet bomb every building that is not Israeli and kill everyone. War is death of innocence. That is why it's the last resort. That is why it's awful. But war never means that the group defending themselves against brutality is in the wrong for killing people. That fault lies on the heads of those who started it, the evil attackers. Israel has shown great restraint over the years, and if you can't see that, it's either because you're either extremely ignorant or you have chosen to support the evil. Now look, if you're honestly ignorant, you didn't know all this stuff, you don't have an excuse in this age of technology. You can find out the facts either by going to a library, using your smartphone, or getting on the internet. We have lost the reality as human beings in America that war is necessary at times, and that the very definition of war means that innocent people will die. It doesn't make Israel the bad guy. It doesn't make America the bad guy when innocent people die. It is the fault of the people who attacked the innocents and use innocent people as shields. The Bible says that God will bless those who bless his people and curse those who curse Israel. This is speaking about the literal land and the nation. Refer to where the battles in the end times actually take place. Physical locations in Israel, okay? It's also speaking about the race of people called the Jews. Refer to Revelation 7, about the 12 tribes and how God has reserved 12,000 from each of those tribes to be his witnesses. And it's speaking about the Jewish religion once they realize that Jesus Christ is their Messiah. That's what it says when God says he will bless those who bless Israel. Don't misunderstand this last thing about the religion. This is believers in Christ, not the current Jewish religion, okay? Christ came to the Jew first. They rejected him. Christ was a Jew, both in race and religion. Remember, he went to the synagogues first. He taught in the synagogues. They knew he was Jewish in faith, right? Our Christian faith comes from the Jews. The Old Testament was preserved by the Jews. The Bible even mentions that because they worship the Creator God. We owe a vast debt of gratitude to the Jewish religion and to their teachings and preservation of the Bible for us. Now, unfortunately, to their detriment, they chose to reject their Messiah while we recognize him and worship Jesus Christ. Romans 9:23, and that he might make known the riches of his glory on the vessels of mercy, which he had afore prepared unto glory, even us whom he hath called, not of the Jews only, but also of the Gentiles. As he saith also in Osee, I will call them my people, which were not my people, and her beloved, which was not beloved. And it shall come to pass that in the place where it was said unto them, you are not my people, there shall they be called the children of the living God. Esaias also crieth concerning Israel, though the number of the children of Israel be as the sand of the sea, a remnant shall be saved. God will save the Jewish people and their land. Now, I've got some final thoughts.